Life Over Coffee. Conversations for Transformation.
Marriage devotion number 24. The title of it is Sex and Marriage. The text of Scripture is 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verses 1 and 2, where Paul said, "It is good for a man not to have sexual relationships with a woman, but because of the temptation to sexual morality, each man should have his wife and each woman her husband." Physical intimacy with your spouse requires more from each spouse. Physical intimacy demands more from the couple. You can do many things as a married couple and even pretend to get along, but sex is the litmus test that tells the truth about the marriage. It is not unusual for a couple to attend church together for 30 years and be miserable in their marriage. Though they can pretend in the public domain, they cannot be fake in the privacy of their bedroom. Intimacy is either right and your marriage is good, or is not and your marriage is in trouble. If your sexual life is struggling, it is because of sin. Sin separates, and the bedroom is the most prominent place where you will perceive this division. If you do not deal with sin biblically, the tectonic plates of your sex life will shift and your marriage will be off kilter. No matter what you do, you will be out of harmony with each other. In Genesis 3:7, we have this verse about intimacy. "Then the eyes of both of them were open, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves loincloths." Sin is what happened to our first sexual couple. Sin entered the picture, and it divided Adam and Eve by shame and guilt and fear, which prompted them to hide. We see this again starting in Genesis 3, verse 7. This one verse explains eloquently and powerfully and sadly what sex can be, how it can be such a problem in the marriage, and why it's an indicator of the deeper problems a couple can experience. When sin enters, the fig leaves come on. People start hiding from each other, and the desire for vulnerability, exposure, openness, honesty, and transparency vanish. You cannot have biblical physical intimacy while wearing fig leaves. Suppose there is unresolved bitterness, anger, frustration, guilt, disrespect, unforgiveness, hurt, malice, or insecurity in your marriage. In that case, you will be hesitant to become completely vulnerable in physical intimacy with your spouse. Now, no doubt a man can be mean to his wife and demand sex from her. I am also aware a woman can despise her husband and still have sex with him. Hate or disrespect toward each other and having sex is not biblical sex. Biblical sex is an uninhibited willingness to unite with another person in God-centered, other-centered unity physically. God-centered sex is the most intimate picture of Christ and His church, fully and comprehensively united as husband and wife. A poor sexual relationship is a symptom, not a cause. Though the symptom is inside the bedroom, the cause is outside, specifically in the hearts of the couple. If you do not fix the cause, your sexual experience with your spouse will never be right. Let me illustrate, and I trust this has never happened to you. But suppose Biff slapped Mabel across the face at 5 p.m. It is now 6 p.m. and it is now 10 p.m. and Biff wants to have sex. Do you think Mabel can freely give herself to Biff? Though you may have never slapped your spouse, and I trust that you have not, you may have done things that have caused your spouse to put layers on, which has restricted your sexual experience. Let's take some time to reflect. When you think about physical intimacy with your spouse, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Number 2, are you free to be vulnerable with your spouse during physical intimacy? If not, what impedes your mutual, transparent relationship? Number 3, are there things that you brought into your marriage that inhibit you from being sexually free with your spouse? What are those things? And then finally, number 4, are there unresolved issues in your marriage that keep you from uninhibited physical intimacy? What are those things? Here's a practical suggestion. Share your reflective thoughts with your spouse. If you cannot share these things with your spouse, please find a competent mentor, a friend of the same gender, to get their perspective and care. As you share with your mentor, ask the Father to give you the freedom and the opportunity to start sharing these things with your spouse. The ultimate goal of this devotion is to talk about these matters with your spouse freely. This is Marriage Devotion number 24, Sex and Marriage.
Thanks for joining us. Learn more and get access to other resources at lifeovercoffee.com.